Dan December, BBC News.
Just a reminder for you, The Pirates in an Adventure with Scientists opens in cinemas on Wednesday. Cramps, chafing, dizziness and dehydration. The London Marathon pushes the human body to its limits. The 26-mile course requires months and months of painstaking preparation, normally. Careful diet and meticulous planning as well. But maybe it doesn't. The Irish twins, Jedward, claim they completed the Los Angeles Marathon without any training. So, is it possible to run one on a whim? Let's talk to fitness trainer to the stars, Kevin Adams and Matthew Baker, who ran last year's London Marathon with apparently little preparation. Is that true?
That's right, yeah. I did a 10-mile run about 3 months before, and the plan was to kind of keep that training going on until the marathon date, but unfortunately that was all I did. So it was a case of turning up on the day with brand new trainers, without any running other than that one 10-mile run 3 months before.
And what happened?
It was a struggle, so it's not something I'd kind of advocate or recommend, but I made it on a day. So I think once I got to about the 22-mile mark, that's when it hit a real wall, and that's when the kind of training, I think, could have probably helped me to kind of push on through. But yes, after the 22-mile mark, it was a case of maybe walking for about a couple of miles, and then as you get through to the mile, there's a lot more kind of crowds kind of cheering you on again. So the last 2 miles is a case of kind of running it and doing everything you can to cross the line.
So Kevin, talk us through the conventional wisdom here. Clearly, is you're doing an extreme event, a lot of pressure on the body, so you need to train.
Yeah, you do need to train. It's like getting out of bed and just jumping into the splits. There'll be some people that will be able to do it, but the ramifications after you finish will be severe, as yours were. You finish running a marathon, you get a thing called DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, where your muscles just become tight, using different fibres you've never used before. You wake them up and then you abuse them, and then in turn they seize up. So 2 days later you get you get pain.
Yeah.
Can't get out of bed.
So there's kind of, I guess maybe there's an element of bravado about this, which is, oh, didn't do much training and then I did it. But what you're saying is there could be, apart from anything else, some long-term, you could do long-term damage.
Oh yeah, you can do yourself some real damage. I think with the guys from Jedward, I'm a big Jedward fan, big Jedward fan. These guys have got boundless energy, so they're going to be able to run a marathon. They will, the energy, their reserve energy is a constant, so they'll be able to run a marathon. It's just, you know, for anyone else that's doing it that doesn't have that boundless energy, you know, even for the boys, they must have ached afterwards. You know, I've met the boys on numerous occasions and they are very active, but even them, they are going to hurt afterwards.
And would you, I mean, Matthew, were people telling you at the time, you are crazy? I mean, what are you planning?
Yeah, of course, yeah. A lot of my friends, the reason I did it was kind of very much on a whim, on the basis of one of my workmates doing the marathon. So the plan was to kind of train alongside my workmate. But he started back in December, and I just didn't fancy starting training that early. And of course, yeah, it got closer and closer to the date, and all my friends were saying, "What are you doing? You need to start training." But you get within 2-3 weeks, and then the realisation is that any training you are going to do isn't really going to help the course. So.
And I mean, today I am running the Sport Relief mile, 1 mile only. Look at you laughing. I'm running 1 mile, and a lot of people say, oh, it's only a mile. But you know, everyone can have their own little Everest.
I think if you do your bit, I think it's amazing. I think that the fact of the matter, even if you've walked the 26.2 miles, the fact that you've achieved something, you've got the raising money for charity, that is the most important thing. And as you were saying, but I think that you've been bigging up off air, saying I'm running the marathon, running the mile,
I haven't said
like you were sprinting. you know, I thought you were going to go like 4-minute mile. I know it's not going to be that quick.
It's not going to happen like that. But the thing is, if you're not accustomed to running at all, which I'm not, it's a little bit, you know. Can you run a mile?
You can.
It's not far.
You can run a mile, you can jog a mile, you can just walk a mile.
Will you run alongside me and help me?
I'm taking my girls to the London Mile, and we'll be walking along the mile, but it doesn't matter how we do it as long as we do it.
And what would your tips be for anyone now? I mean, it's only, what, a month away, isn't it, the marathon? Yeah. What are your tips at this stage if you haven't done enough work?
The biggest one for me was, the biggest issue for me was the trainer issue. So I knew beforehand everyone was saying make sure you break your trainers in, but of course that's one of many things that I didn't do.
So the first time you wore them was
the first time I wore them was that day. So one tip for me would be to kind of wear those trainers around for a week beforehand, just to break them in. And
a classic giveaway at the start line is you look along the line, you see whoever has new trainers and you're like, the bad things for you, probably around the 13-mile mark, blisters, all kinds of things, toenails. Did you buy them an extra half a size bigger?
I didn't. No. Just
because your
normal
feet
size,
swell.
yeah.
You come
Okay.
across Tower Bridge, and then your feet start to swell, and you're heading around Canary Wharf, and your feet are really starting to swell. So toenails, rubbing, but people do give you sweets and stuff. So a lot of things, they give you things to pep you up. So the sugar rush of sweets and stuff will help you the second half, and the crowd lift you up and take you along. But I would always advise, unless you are young and got boundless amounts of energy, please do some training.
Good advice. Thank you both very much. Thanks. Good to see you this morning. That brings us pretty much to the end of breakfast. We will leave you with the last look at the weather. Chris is there for us today.
Thanks a lot, Charlie. Yes, good morning. I am indeed. Yes, for most of us, it's going to be a fine afternoon with plenty of sunshine in the forecast. Temperatures climbing to the high teens or low 20s. But before we get there, we're going to still have some fairly dense patches of fog first thing, particularly across northeast England and through the